the catalog that you have, like, it's iconic. Like, it's just huge people in ways that you wouldn't have seen them otherwise. And I think that's, for me, if I was in your shoes, that would probably be the thing that'd be the most stressful. I saw that you talked about, like, it's always like, who's the next big whale, right? Keanu Reeves, people like that. But at some point, is it like, do you fucking run out of people? I don't know.
Well, we do think about that sometimes. I think the good thing is that celebrity is always evolving, and who somebody is going to want to see in the seat is going to change so much week to week. And, I do feel like there's a lot of, it's not, we haven't totally hit all the marks that we want to hit. And so there's still a lot of work to be done. But yeah, at some point you do look, and you're like, wow, 200 episodes, or the expectations that people are going to have for your guest list at some point, like that bar gets so high that it's untenable or impossible to meet people's expectations. But
yeah,
so far the good thing is enjoying the process so much. This is what I've kind of gotten in the headspace of doing, is just making the thing and putting it out, and then whatever happens after that happens after that. But just totally focusing on the process of making the thing and then putting it out, making the thing and then putting it out.
Yeah, what I've found myself doing more and more, especially because it's like you guys, everyone's consuming so fast, is I actually sometimes just go back to older episodes, because it's also wild to think some of the people that you've had on, like Key and Peele before the big pop.
Yeah,
like the even
they
even
were
bigger
the big pop.
Yeah, at that point, which is crazy. A question I had though, what is the energy like with Shia LaBeouf in the room? Because that seems exciting.
Yeah. Well, there are certain episodes. One of the things that we take pride in is taking somebody who's maybe been run through it in the media and then presenting them in a completely different way. But I'm like everybody else. I'm just watching whatever comes up, or like watching. So with Shia LaBeouf, there is a part of you that's like, what are we gonna get? And I don't really get starstruck, but when somebody walks into the room for the first time, when I see them for the first time, it doesn't matter who it is, I do get the butterflies a little bit. And so with Shia, just because you don't know what to expect with him or how he's going to play or whatever, and it is a playful show, or at least you hope it'll be. And we do have to draw it up in a very specific way, where we're maybe like taking what we hope the video will look like and then reverse engineering that to a certain degree, while also playing a choose your adventure within each wing based on how the person's reacting to the whole experience. But I knew immediately that it was going to be an amazing episode, because he'd already watched a bunch. He already like knew about the show, and then he's popping the top on the first one. So I'm like,
talking about Tom Hardy, I was like amazed by that story.
He's in here. Yeah, he's in, and it's like he came down to, I mean, the way that we always think about it is we want to make it the most comfortable, least comfortable interview show. So it's this disarming nature of the hot sauce combined with these thoughtful, career-spanning questions, hopefully putting them in a position where they feel comfortable. Like, we're not really clickbaiting or doing any of that bullshit. Like, we really think that we can create attention without those things, maybe in part because we're serving up the spiciest chicken wings ever to very high-profile famous people. But there's no real reason to have your guard up, which maybe sounds counterintuitive with what we serve for dinner, but otherwise,
well, I think it's like you've said elsewhere, and what we've talked about. It's like you're in it together, right?
Yeah, by exactly. It's a buddy cop movie. It's a shared struggle.
What? So I mean, because you've interviewed so many people, and kind of what you were hitting on is really like an emotional balance of the guest. Is there a trick to de-escalating a situation with a guest if it's gotten, like, what have you found? I mean, you can use a specific example. Or...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of times, but I think that an edge that I have, I think, is the body language feel. I feel like maybe my sense of empathy is stronger than the everyday, like the average person or something. Like if I had some sort of interview superpower, it's that. So I can always see that, but we do try to head that off even in the research process, because when we're watching these things, I really feel like I can watch something and I can tell the nerves that it's hitting just by looking at the person and how they're sort of reacting to things. And the other side is I can kind of see when they want to keep talking about something. Yeah. So that, to me, those are the nuggets that we try to find, especially that sort of like they're almost to the itch that I want them to scratch, but not quite there. We do a good job of recognizing that and then being like, all right, well, how can we mastermind something around that allows them to like let that thing out?
Sure.
But I guess on a de-escalation level, ultimately, it's not like we're interviewing heads of state or anything. They're celebrity interviews. So by nature, it's not like, oh, we really have to get to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah. Explain the policy.
Yeah, exactly. There's no, I don't feel any sense of real responsibility when I'm interviewing
a celebrity. You hit him with that one right at, wait, do you still do the bomb?
Yeah.
So right at the bomb.
Yeah,
they take a bite.
Then they can't
explain the policy.
Exactly. And we're not letting you out until you do that. So the thing that I've found is, all right, it's not like you have to push a line of questioning necessarily. Like if you're not going to get anything out of it, you're not going to get anything out of it. And the harder you press, especially when you're also asking them to eat scorching hot chicken wings, I don't think it's like a good show if I'm drilling the celebrity on like some sort of hot button issue while they're choking down scorching hot chicken wings. And I don't think it's necessarily that important. But the big thing is this. I think that I walk into interviews and being like, I can either give things or I don't have to give things, depending on the how smart the questions I'm being asked are, or like if I have any confidence that the person I'm talking to is going to turn this into like a thing that our fans are going to read and they'll be able to sink their teeth into certain things and get more of a sense of the show. So when I sit down with people and they're good at what they do and they've tried and they're doing something, then you can be a little bit more generous with what you give up. And I think that that's true across the board. So it's like, it all just starts in being prepared in the interview, trying to be smart. And then if you present that to them in a way that connects with them, and that goes even down to like the rhythm and syntax that we use with the questions, then maybe they'll give you more because they understand that it's not just some fleeting thing or something that we really care about it. So hopefully the guest will meet us halfway on that. But even if they don't, we'll extend further for them.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed is each interview, it's like 80% the same and the rest is this weird little dance. Like it's of like sometimes really trying to get something out of someone. What I've personally found is my hardest thing is getting something out of like a daily vlogger because their whole shtick has been to overshare everything.
Right.
And so as you start getting into questions like, what's a hobby that no one knows you have? It's like, well, I've overshared literally every aspect of my life. So nothing.
Right.
Enjoy that.
No, there are certain nuts that are tough to crack that way. I think like athletes are a tough nut to crack because
I imagine that has to be so much media training of just like, don't fuck up.
Exactly. Because too, they don't need to trade off of their personality and entertainment. They just need to hit the home run or make the basket or catch the ball. So they're like, all you can do is fuck my money up. You know,
this can really only go bad for me.
Exactly. Yeah. So as long as I swerve everything by 100 feet, then we're okay. But that makes it a tougher nut to crack for sure.
Yeah, teamwork, responsibility.
Hey, we
work ethic.
Left it all out there on the field.
That's how we should do interviews from now on. Just completely answer the question I want to answer.
That's what I'm trying to get to the point where you just pull a string